Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! Taylor gets this one out towards center field to the short part, and it's a grand slam! That's a floater. Out to short. And it's booted off the shortstop's glove! Just like they drew from Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! Gone! Grant Fournier! Two-run shot to right! For the third time this year, Dan Wilkins Broadcasting highlights the Pennsauken Indians just off of 130 as from Vince McEnany Field, dedicated in 2008. It's a WJFL crossover matchup between the Shawnee Renegades and the Pennsauken Indians. I'm Dan Wilkins. I'll be joined by Damian Waiters later tonight as both teams have taken the field in their respective celebrations, their pregame celebrations as well. Shawnee and Pennsauken played to a 39-25 final in favor of the Renegades in 2024. Now that cross-division rivalry turns over to Vince McEnany Field and makes for a good contest between two games that are hungry for more wins here at the tail end of the 2025 season. Of course, Shawnee is 3-3, but it should be noted that all three of their losses have been 3 points or less. They lost to out-of-state opponent Pope John Paul II of Pennsylvania 20-19 to open up the year. Then they won two more over Williamstown and Camden, and Rancocas Valley, a tough opponent in their own right, they lost 17-14. And after beating Lenape by 42-14, they lost to Cherokee last week by 1 point. So out of the 6 Renegade games that Tim Gashu has played this year, 5 of them have ended in either one-score wins or one-score losses. Meanwhile, Pennsauken, they're winners of 4 straight. After losing 41-0 to Washington Township in the opening week of September, they have now won 4 in a row, beating Highland, Vineland, Eastern, and Camden Eastside, each win better than the next. And Nazir Negron has really been showing off for Pennsauken. He threw for 201 passing yards versus Eastern 2 weeks ago, and then had a shutout performance over Camden Eastside last Saturday. But at this time, it's going to be an interesting game for Pennsauken donning their blackout uniforms tonight versus a Shawnee team that is going to make this close no matter who you ask. But it's going to be a fun night, especially for Cole Anderson leading the team in passing and rushing. He's been an efficient guy this year who's been able to do it on both ends, and now Shawnee is going to be able to try to get to 4-3 on the year and disrupt the Indians' winning streak. We'll be right back in just a moment with the national anthem, kickoff, and much more here from Vince McEnany Field.
Cadet Sanchez, Cadet Grace, and Cadet Jones. Are we not going to need a running back next year? What are you reclassing for? Hey, bro, too good. Too good, actually. What is big? What? And you're too bony. Yo. Please. You used to fuck with London, bro. Don't. Okay. That was my chance. I'm sure it was. That was my thing. It was. I used to lie to her saying that y'all dated. That was up. Performing tonight's national anthem is freshman student athlete Zipporah Jones. Get no bitches.
Let's give a big round of applause for Zocora.
The presentation of the colors and the national anthem sung by that Pennsauken freshman Zamora Jones as we get ready for kickoff here from Pennsauken. It is mostly cloudy tonight with a kickoff temperature of 59 degrees. Of course, last night we had frost warning overnight throughout most of South Jersey as fall has officially set in. I remember when I was here, it was Thursday the 11th of September, and I remember I just kept taking off layers of my hoodies and whatnot because it was scorching hot in here. And now finally we get ourselves a little bit of relief with a chilly Friday evening from Pennsauken. So again, Shawnee getting ready to go. Pennsauken looks like that they are going to kick this one away. Shawnee will be back to receive. And it looks like in the mix to return for the Renegades will be number 3, Jack Creaney, and number 6, defensive back Tyler Nichols.
Nichols is back deep to receive the kick for Shawnee.
From Vince McEnany Stadium, just off of 1:30, Friday Night Lights between two top 10 teams in South Jersey Group 4, we are underway. Takes it on one hop, a return that will get all the way up to the 41, it looks like. And Shawnee will get this party started in their own territory, but great return as the mobile quarterback Cole Anderson gets the party started. Let's take a look at his stats for the evening. He's a sophomore who comes into this one, still has yet to throw a passing touchdown, but he's 20 for 45 on the season. He's got 5 interceptions and just under 150 passing yards. Meanwhile, for rushing, he's attempted over 150 rushing attempts this year, 522 rushing yards, and 8 touchdowns on the ground. First snap of the game for Anderson is a handoff up to the right side. Pennsauken's defense will labor to get him down for a gain of 8. Rush was made by number 24, Brett Lundberg. And another rush this time on 2nd and short. Looks like he'll be across. And back-to-back rushes for the Renegades, pick up a first down. We'll say some good tackles so far on the Pennsauken side of things, and even though Shawnee now traversing past the 50, already a good start to the drive. 2 rushes and gain of 12 yards so far. Now another rush, looked like by Lundberg. He'll get about 6 yards on the play, and he'll get up to the 43. Yeah, but Shawnee, the thing about Shawnee this year is, again, the heartbreaking losses and the gut-wrenching wins. 5 of their first 6 games have been 1-score victories or 1-score losses. They lost by 1 point to Pope John Paul out of Pennsylvania. They lost by 3 points to Rancocas Valley, and last week by 1 point to Cherokee. And then their 3 wins, 3 points over Williamstown, 1 point over Camden. And then their 1 win that's an outlier as Lundberg is going to lunge his way across for a first down. Another thing to note is that 1 win was over Lenape, which is winless this year, and they won it 42-14. Shawnee has yet to have a game this year where they have allowed less than 10 points. See where Forward Progress gets this one. They'll break them up, and they'll get about, looks like about 6 yards. So Shawnee driving incredibly quickly, and they'll be up to the 26. Only about 2 minutes gone in the first quarter already here from Vince McEnany. It's a keeper for Anderson on the option. And he'll get about half the distance to a first down. It looks like it'll be 3rd and short. Marks him about a yard short and still on the doorstep of the red zone. But Shawnee moving very quickly, and I think the question for Shawnee is whether or not they're going to be able to stop the Pennsauken rush, this very rush-heavy offense with the Temple commit being R.J. Blunt. That one looks like it's going to be enough. They'll stop the clock with 9:24, and that will be enough to bring a Shawnee first down to the table. And extends the drive some more on the carry by number 22, that being Parker Palouse, the junior. But Shawnee, being a rush-heavy offense, is going to diversify their backfield. You're going to see Lundberg get some carries. You're going to see Anderson added the direct snap a few times. Now another handoff to Lundberg. Labors his way inside the red zone. He gets up to the 18. Line to gain is up at the 10. Again, a nice brisk fall night here from Pennsauken. Our third of 3 games with them this year. Inside the red zone for the Renegades. Handoff by Anderson to Lundberg. He'll be down right around the 16, a gain of 2. And that will now mean third and mid-range. But overall, a great drive for Shawnee so far, but it's not going to mean anything if they don't score. It's all going to be a moot point if they don't get on the board on this first drive, you know, kind of a precedent setter for the Indians, who again have that 3-headed monster, or I guess you could say 2-headed monster, if you will, of Negron and Blunt. But Shawnee's drive all of a sudden coming to a halt, and we've got whistles.
Flag on the play.
Probably some movement somewhere. False start. And you talk about putting a drive to a halt, that's one way to do it. 7:52 left in the first quarter, and this 5-yard loss now brings them to 3rd and long. Clock still moving here. 3rd and 11 after the false start. Anderson, the southpaw, drops back. It's a one-handed attempt by Lundberg that's incomplete. And it'll be 4th and 11.
4th and 11. Pennsauken 26.
So they're at the 26. And it looks like Pennsauken or Shawnee is going to try to kick a field goal here. Only in the big schools do you see something like this. It's going to be a field goal attempt, it looks like by number 16. And it is Michael Bartasius. They're lined up at the 21, meaning that this will be a 38-yard attempt. Holding is Cole Fifus. It's a left-handed kick. It's up away, and it loses a lot of air, but it's good. Shawnee with just the 2nd field goal made on DWB this year, and they end the drive with at least some points. They lead at 3-0, 7:22 left in the first quarter. We'll be back in just a moment.
And number 7, Nathaniel Correa.
Correa and Sanabayana back to receive for Pennsauken, as Bartasius will send this one away with the Renegades up 3-0. Line drive kick will be received at the 17 on the left hash. Now it's Correa getting some space. Not going to get too far, and he'll get this one up to the 32 for Pensauken's first drive of the night. And we take a look at Nazir Negron, the junior quarterback stats for the player profile for the home side tonight. Well, I'll tell you, Nazir Negron is an extremely efficient passer, 72% for the junior quarterback. He's only missed 10 completion attempts, 26 for 36, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And 2 weeks ago, the last game for which we have stats available versus Eastern, threw for 201 passing yards in a 28-21 win over the Eastern Vikings. Vikings play tonight versus Atlantic City. Rushed by the Temple commit, R.J. Blunt. The question for Shawnee is whether they're going to be able to stop R.J. Blunt. And we mentioned in the open, this is our third time covering Pennsauken this year. We saw them in the second week of the season versus Washington Township, which indeed the Minutemen did stop R.J. Blunt, and it was a 41-0 game. But after that, Highland couldn't stop him, and Pennsauken won 22-16. And, well, that loss to Washington Township, 41-0, was the only Indians' loss of the year. As Blunt finds some room, he will get up to the 46. And the future Owl has a first down as they inch towards midfield. First and 10 from the Pennsauken 47-yard line. Almost halfway through the first quarter here at Vince McEnany Field. And it looks like one of Shawnee's D-line helmets was over the line of scrimmage. Felt that coming right away. They were going to try to get a blitz on the snap. James Gilmartin was right over, and it looked like his helmet was over the ball. That does move the Indians past midfield. They now go to the opposing 48. But again, that line or the side judge saw it perfectly. He saw that Shawnee player got a little bit too close for comfort. He leaned his helmet right over the ball, and it's a 5-yard penalty offside for the Renegades. 6:35 left in quarter number one. Dropping back, Nazir Negron. Again, a very efficient passer. He's going to go deep downfield, but way too much on it. It's incomplete. Sanabayata was the intended receiver, and he just put too much mustard on it. It'll be 2nd and 5. I'm not the biggest fan of that play call for the sole reason that it's 2nd and 5. I feel like they should keep it on the ground a little bit more given their field position. I mean, with 1st and 5. But now you've put yourself in a position where you can go for the run, or you can go for something more of a slant or a screen pass, something that will change up Shawnee's defensive mindset and also get you some more yards. Blunt keeps it on the ground. Line to gain is at the 43. They're going to be about a yard short of that. But again, Pennsauken not really going to be a team that's going to kick field goals. That's where Shawnee could definitely, nip them for that. But Shawnee definitely does not want Pennsauken to get any points of any kind. With their defensive line holding steady on 3rd and short, Blunt, rush. Referee says it is enough for a first down, and the Indians will move the chains. Again, just about 60 degrees tonight here from Pennsauken. Last night we saw a chilly one in Pennsville where Paulsboro improved to 7-0 with a 44-32 win over the Pennsville Eagles. It was tied for the highest scoring game in DWB history in 73 games. 76 total points between the two offenses. Here comes a handoff. Blunt, left side, gets a little bit of space, gets a block. There is a flag that comes in from the sideline. He is down at the 32, but I think a hold might bring this one back. Holding on Pennsauken. With great yardage gained comes great penalty flags, a great philosopher once said, and that will bring them back on the penalty to the, well, let's see, 10 yards to the spot of the foul. Probably will bring them. It'll bring them back pretty far here.
Flags on the player holding on Pennsauken. That will push the ball back to Pennsauken.
Spotted at their own 48, so a big loss for Pennsauken.
Will remain first down and roughly.
Penalties might be a big killer for both of these teams today. I mean, Pennsauken already getting a hole against them. Shawnee, their drive was thwarted by a false start, and they also were perpetrators of an offside call, and now another penalty flag. And it will be a false start on Pennsauken. So it's already 1st and 20, and you can back them up even farther. It's 1st and 25. Well, this is not going to be fun for 21st year head coach Clinton Tabb. 1st and 25, already down by 3 points.
That'll bring us to Thurston. This could come my bridge.
But you never know when you step into Vince McEnany Stadium what's going to happen. Dedicated in September of 2008 to the legendary coach Vince McEnany, who preceded Clinton Tabb. Again, brought so much relevance to this area in their football program. Negron on a back foot step. It's deep. It is incomplete. It almost was completed by Sanabayata, and it almost got picked off as the pass broken up on 1st and 25, trying to get all the marbles that time. Broken up by Jack Potter, the junior defensive back. And we'll now go to 2nd and 25. That's one time where I think a deep ball play call is acceptable. I think that as Sanabayata goes back, just trying to go for all the marbles, trying to get at least some kind of leverage in the first quarter. But you almost forced into a turnover that time, and that definitely is a tough pill to swallow. Negron, that might be a backwards pass. Shawnee picks it up, and Shawnee's got the ball. That was not an incomplete pass. It was not a forward pass, and Shawnee is going to get a big turnover as Negron, who was throwing out of panic and necessity for R.J. Blunt, is unable to come up with it, and that's going to be a fumble recovery for the Renegades. That is a huge break for Shawnee, taking over on offense now. 1st and 10 from the 26. Handoff, up the middle. Gets it about 6 yards to the 20. Going over some out-of-town scores from last night, we did mention that Paulsboro beat Pennsville to improve to 7-0, 44-32. As second and 4, Anderson fakes the handoff, takes it himself. He's got some space, breaks a tackle, left side, down inside the 10 and in between the 10 and 5. Anderson down between the 5 and dime, and he'll get himself a first down. They'll drop the sticks, and it'll be 1st and goal for the Renegades. But Florence got their first win of the year, beating Pemberton 42-36. Maple Shade improved to 4-3 with a 32-9 win over Pittman. Pleasantville improved to 5-2 with a shutout win over Oakcrest, 42-0. And now from the 9-yard line, Anderson rushing to the left. He spins towards the pylon, backing into the end zone. It's in. Touchdown, Renegades.
Anderson with the rush to the left side for a touchdown.
Shawnee with the first touchdown of the game, a field goal and then a fumble recovery, and very quickly they make this a 9-0 game with a chance to make it 10 or 11 depending on what they opt for, but it does look like they'll go for a standard PAT to make this 10-0. Bartasius will be out to kick. Again, the left-footed kicker, kind of a la Sebastian Janikowski, but this is from PAT range, not exactly Janikowski range. This one's up, away, and good. 10-zip as the Renegades lead this one 10-0 with 3:10 left in the first quarter. We'll take a quick break. Shawnee leads by 10. Bartasius will send this one away, looking for Pennsauken's second drive. Shawnee, their kicking line, I guess, looking to get a good start on a kneel. I don't see too many teams running that. As a kick trails to the right, it'll be returned by Correa. Tried to find a gap. He is down shy of the 40. Well, that's one of the best formulas for kick returns is when you can trail a ball to a certain sideline. If you watch kickoff returns in the NFL before they completely botched or butchered the kickoff procedure, now that you can't move until the receiver has the ball. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about in the classic style of NFL kickoffs. Great returners like Devin Hester, Cordarrelle Patterson, those guys, they would always try to find a sideline and stick to it. And that's what Correa did there on the return. He was able to pick up some good yards because he definitely did have the sideline as an escape. They start from the 38, R.J. Blunt going through. And he'll get about 5 yards up to the 42, 43. Closing out our out-of-town scoreboard, I guess you could say, discussions. Holy Spirit beat Delsey 45-7. In the Battle of the Boot and Cherry Hill, the Boot will remain on Crescent as Cherry Hill East beat a 2-5 Cherry Hill West team 49-7. It was 28-0 at halftime. Cedar Creek beat Lower Cape May to improve to 6-1, 42-0. Blunt gets the handoff. Gets about 2 yards. He'll get up to the 45. Haddon Township picked up their first win of the year over a winless Mastery Camden, 28-14. And Haddon Heights got their second win of the year over a 2-5 Woodstown, 27-6. And then our final game of the night, we originally had it on our schedule, but after it got moved to Thursday, we had to drop it. PVI beat Notre Dame 27-0. Got plenty of good games on the docket tonight. Mark Tribble is at Rancocas Valley versus Washington Township. Their quarterback, Savion Adams, is dressed and cleared for tonight as the Red Devils lead the Minutemen 7-3 in the first quarter. But enough about that. Third and short. This is going to be close, and it will be an Indians first down. Again, staying with the tried and true with R.J. Blunt. First and 10 now at the 48. I mean, this is pretty much the same archetype as to how the first Pennsauken drive went. However, it was stopped after Nazir Negron on 1st and 25 threw a pass backwards. R.J. Blunt couldn't come up with it, and Shawnee picked up a fumble recovery. Here is R.J. Blunt. He's got room. He spins, fires. He's tripped up at his feet, and the ball comes out. Pennsauken falls on it. Lucky break for the Indians as one of their offensive helpers there, looked like that was number 52, the offensive lineman Cameron Hoskins, was able to pick up the recovery, and Blunt still gets a first down, but that ball handling is going to be a big point of concern. Pennsauken is going to have to keep a handle on the ball. If there's any excuse for getting fumble trouble, it's going to be next week because it's going to rain for 7 of the next 8 days. That I can understand. But tonight, it's a cool night, no rain, got to hang on to the football. R.J. Blunt will get tackled with a host of blue and white Renegades. Tackle led by number 22, Parker Palouse. That's going to be a loss, or at the best, neutral gain. And that should be the last play of the first quarter because they do count it down to 10 seconds remaining. And with the lack of urgency, it looks like they'll spot it at the 36, and that will wrap us up in the first quarter. The Renegades put on an early field goal from 38 yards, and then Cole Anderson spins backwards into the end zone for score number 2. At the end of the first quarter here in Pennsauken, it's the visitors up 10-0 over the Pennsauken Indians. We'll be back in just a moment.
snack stand.
It's always interesting when we go to Pennsauken and we see the different billboards that have been changed and modified every time we come here. I'm 99% sure those billboards were different when we were last in Pennsauken in early September, but maybe my brain's playing mind tricks on me. Pennsauken with the ball. It's 2nd and 9 in opposing territory. Correa's in motion. They hand it off to Correa on the jet sweep, and he'll get wrestled to the ground right in front of the line of scrimmage. Not going to get too far. I do like the fact that Pennsauken is now taking the ball away from Blunt, not as a disciplinary thing, but just as a fact of, they need him to get some more yards, and they need to get some different guys involved, and they need to get some yards. They need to get something going. They're down by 10, and they just need to get the offense rolling. Already down 2 scores in this one.
Pennsauken comes out in a 4-wide receiver set with R.J. Bryant in the backfield.
2 receivers to the right for the Indians. Negron goes back to pass. He's in a lot of trouble. Ball comes out again, and Pennsauken gets a late shove. And it looks like that the Renegades are going to take over on another fumble recovery. And Shawnee will take over 1st and 10 from their own 33-yard line. That is the 2nd turnover that Pennsauken has had, both on fumbles. Trips left for the Renegades. Now handing off. Now a rush out to the left side by Anderson. He gets tripped up out of bounds. There is a flag on the play. Got a block in the back coming. So again, both of these teams hurting themselves with penalties tonight. First and 15 for the Renegades. And with them backed up to the 29 here, it's going to be an interesting hurdle to climb, but not one that the Renegades haven't climbed before. As the handoff, they'll get right around the line of scrimmage again, and Pennsauken's defense will have to hold up if this offense keeps continuing to make mistakes. That's just what it's going to come down to, is whether or not Pennsauken will be able to hold up on defense and then have enough offensive counteraction to get on the board. Second and 15. Handoff now up the right side. Renegades getting some room, and they'll convert on the 2nd and long. As that was a nice rush that time by Palouse, it'll be enough for a Renegades first down. And they're going to line this one up, no huddle, up tempo, right from midfield. Handoff, this time to Lundberg, the senior running back. Lundberg had a 1,200 rushing yard season in 2024 on 193 rushes. He had 13 touchdowns this year. His rushing power has kind of been stripped away from him. He's only had 16 rushes this year for 71 yards. And again, that follows a 1,200 rushing yard campaign in 2024. Second and 11. Lundberg lost a yard on the play. Handoff again to Lundberg. He will dive forward. He'll get to the 43. Again, Lundberg and Palouse really seem to be the leading rushers for the Renegades. And, well, I'll tell you, I mean, Lundberg isn't even one of the 3 Shawnee rushers with over 100 yards this year. Anderson, the quarterback, has 522. Tyler Nichols, who we have not seen get a rush tonight, as he's hit from the back. Good hit there by the Indians by number 14, being Alex Parker. But point is, though, you've got 316 out of Nichols, 163 out of Palouse, and then Lundberg is in 4th place. But you don't know whether he had an injury or whether something, took him out for an extended period of time that has now messed up his psyche. And could be the reason why he's under 100 rushing yards in his senior campaign. 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line with 8 minutes left in the first half. Already a lightning fast first quarter. Two yards on the gain. A programming note for tomorrow. We are no longer going to cover St. Joseph Hamilton at ACIT in Brigantine. We were originally scheduled to cover that game at 1 p.m. tomorrow. However, the forecast isn't looking too bright for the game, and we will not have press box access. So for the sake of protecting our equipment, we would have had to travel over an hour anyway. So we will not be at Brigantine for that game tomorrow. We will try to get another ACIT home game in 2026. Nichols is in trouble, hit hard. That's going to be a loss of 5. Loss of 7, actually. He's going to get all the way back to the 45. Williams will pick up the tackle. And that is now going to make it 3rd and long as Shawnee working backwards here in their 3rd drive of the evening. And as a second programming note, as a replacement to that, we will be covering a doubleheader in South Jersey NABA between the South Jersey Lightning and the Sicklerville Phillies, with Game 1 starting at 9 a.m., Game 2 at 11:30 from Joseph Servino Field in Haddon Heights. 2 receivers on each side. Anderson gets a good pass to the left and wrestled down hard.
It's a good defense.
Catch was made by number 15, Lucas Solomon. Johnson picked up the tackle that time. Saves a lot of yards that time on 3rd and long.
Absolutely.
And it now sets up 4th and 8. Shawnee keeping the offense on the field with Cole Anderson. Again, a little bit too far for their kicker Bartasius to attempt it from. Although, hold on here, Anderson's going to punt. Pennsauken had to scramble to get a returner back. It's going to land on the goal line, and it gets waved off for a touchback because it did hit the front line of the end zone. So Pennsauken will get the ball back at the 20 with 6 minutes left in the first half. This broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on the first attempt. If you like those odds, you can book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman at 614 Lambs Road. (10-0) Renegades over the Indians here on this Friday night action. Hand it off up the middle that time. A flag comes in from the far sideline. Shawnee face mask. Again, even with Shawnee holding a 10-point lead, you cannot get complacent with penalties. This probably would be a 14-0 game if Shawnee did not hurt themselves with a false start in their first drive. Now they get hit with a face mask, and Pennsauken, they have to capitalize here. 2 fumbles already, 2 fumble turnovers. Got to have a little bit different in the bag here as 1st and 10. Rolling up the middle that time. Everybody gets carried a couple of yards up. They'll go up to the 44. Checking in on some out-of-town scores at the moment. At the end of the first quarter, Eastern leads Atlantic City 7-0. And then for Washington Township RV, Minutemen now lead the Red Devils 14-3. We've got Washington Township next Friday at home at Tom Brown Field versus the Kingsway Dragons. That's going to be a huge game in South Jersey Group 5. In Township, Kingsway was a game we covered last year. Washington Township won on the road 35-20. And then for next week, we do have boys soccer in the Colonial Conference on Monday between Woodbury and Collingswood at 4 p.m. from Knight Park. Tuesday and Wednesday, both RCSJ matches. Men's soccer versus Delaware County on Tuesday, and then volleyball versus Community College of Philadelphia on Wednesday. Thursday night football brings us to Deptford for the Cherry Hill East Cougars, who are now 7-0 on the year versus Pat Landis and the Deptford Spartans. We've mentioned Washington Township Kingsway, and then another huge South Jersey Group 1 game on Saturday between West Deptford and Paulsboro. 3rd and 3, Blunt gets his way through, gets leveled from below the waist, and that'll be a first down for the Indians as they move this one up to around the 45. And Pennsauken just needs to keep doing stuff like that. A couple yards here, a couple yards there. You know, when I saw Nazir Negron throw for a huge all the marbles kind of pass on 1st and 25, it definitely didn't seem natural for Nazir Negron, even though he had 200 passing yards just 2 weeks ago versus Eastern. 1st and 10, Blunt gets caught up on the defensive line, and he'll get, again, another yard or two. I mean, you keep going with what works until it doesn't. If Blunt gets stopped too many times, you're going to have to go into a different realm and try to pass, try to find a slant route, try to find any way to get somebody open. But with a 20-plus year experience head coach in Clinton Tabb, they're going to have to find a way out of this deficit, especially with a 4-game winning streak on the line. Not to mention, Pennsauken is 6th in South Jersey Group 4 rankings in terms of United Power Ranking, which directly determines playoff seeding. We've got whistles, false start, and that's going to be a big break for the Renegades. But then after that, Shawnee is in 10th for South Jersey Group 4. So both of these teams poised for a good playoff run, and there's a chance that Pennsauken could get a home playoff game. What's going to be interesting this year is the fact that the first round of the playoffs are on Halloween night, Friday, October 31st. And athletic departments have a choice to make. Do you go for the Thursday before, and that gives players less rest, but you probably get a larger crowd that way? That pass is caught, right side.
That was a good screen pass.
That was a great screen, and it brings him up to the 35. Elias Pagan gets the reception that time. First down, Pennsauken, a big gain, a big break after a false start. It'll bring him to the 35-yard line. Under 2 minutes to play. This first half, it's only going to be about a 40-minute first half. Shocking, to say the least. We started this one right on time. Here's Negron, deep down the sideline.
Wow.
Did he bring that one in? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Indians. Jabari Sanabayata with a sayonara into the end zone, 35 yards. And Pennsauken makes it 10-6. Wow. A great grab in the end zone by Jabari Sanabayata. Facing tough Renegade defense, we're going to have a standard PAT attempt here. Negron will hold. Can't tell. Looks like that's Correa who will kick. Clinton Tabb with some words for his man as he came out there. Pennsauken was charged a timeout for a late personnel change prior to the PAT, although first half timeouts definitely don't hurt as much. Good rush by Shawnee. It's up, away, and no good. Wide to the right. And Pennsauken picks up a good one. Let's try to load in that replay because that was a fun one to watch. Jabari Sanabayata comes in for a 35-yard receiving touchdown. Not the first one he's had this year and definitely not the last. Here's your replay presented by Harper Driving School. 35 yards for Nazir Negron. Really able to dial it up this time. Just dropping back, you can see that offensive line holds up. You don't see it on every play. Then Sanabayata goes back. Look at that coverage by Shawnee. Puts the hand up in the air, basically blocked his line of sight, and then comes down with it for the catch. And Jabari Sanabayata makes it 10-6 as the PAT attempt failed for Pennsauken. We'll stay right here. Also want to thank everybody as obviously last weekend we celebrated 4 years of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. We're also going to be approaching the 600 broadcast milestone later on this week. Tonight is broadcast number 596, and then let's see, we've got 597 and 598 this weekend. Monday will be 599, so 600 is going to be Delaware County at RCSJ men's soccer from Sewell on Tuesday the 14th. This one is up. Rolling to the left, this one's going to go. Oh, Shawnee tried to slide before it went out of bounds. So they will get that one. And honestly, if I'm Shawnee, I let that one roll out of bounds because I'm pretty sure kicking out of bounds starts you at either the 35 or the 40. And that's definitely better field position than the 22 that the Renegades are going to start with. The only thinking that I have there is that Pennsauken had somebody coming up from behind and they were going to try to get an onside recovery. So that's why Shawnee tried to slide and basically sabotage it for that reason. But at the same time, you know, if they let that one go or if they try to guard it from going, that's still 15 yards that they're going to lose out on because of it with 1:32 to play. Handoff of the middle. Lundberg got the carry. Oh, wow, they got that snap off before the chain crew got ready. That will be a first down. Shawnee with a huge no-huddle, up-tempo offense. Really trying to get a second score. He'll get sent down, was able to stay in bounds for Lundberg. They'll get about 4 yards. Chain crew is definitely going to be on high alert here for the last minute. They're down to 50 seconds. Handoff, Lundberg, right side. Finding some space, he will dive forward. It will be enough for a first down. They stop the clock with 36 seconds left. Renegades call a timeout, and so will we. They burn their first of the half, and we'll take a quick break with, looks like 36 seconds left. Coming out of a timeout here in Pennsauken, this broadcast is brought to you by Rowan College of South Jersey. Become a Roadrunner today at rcroadrunners.com and become a Roadrunner athletically by visiting rcsj.edu. 4-yard gain for Lundberg. Shawnee calls their second timeout. 27.7 on the board. At the halftime, enjoy the Dan Wilkins Broadcasting Archives program, showcasing the best highlights of DWB's 4-year history, from walk-off hits to game-winning shots to everything in between. I think there's even a Pennsauken highlight in there somewhere. Enjoy the halftime break and stick around to watch Dan Wilkins Broadcasting and the Archives program before we go into the third quarter. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Damian Waiters today. Good game so far. Pennsauken trailing Shawnee 10-6 for what will be a nice Friday night matchup. And watching these two teams in top 10 contention for South Jersey Group 4, these playoff brackets could be very similar for these two teams going forward. It's now a big break for Lundberg. He'll get another first down. He'll get up to the 35. That takes 6 seconds off the board. Clock stops with about 22 seconds remaining. And now they line up quickly in the I form. No huddle. Shawnee not messing around in any regard. They have one timeout remaining, it looks like. And now, clock stops for Shawnee. Shawnee burns their final timeout. We'll stay here. Good start so far. I mean, listen, Shawnee got 38-yard field goal, was up 3-0, and then got that fumble recovery, got the score right after, 9-yard rush by Cole Anderson. And now a 35-yard touchdown to Jabari Sanabayata from Nazir Negron, his 6th passing touchdown of the year. So 21 even left on the board. By the way, another final score, another out-of-town score update from the Black Horse Pike rivalry. Highland and Triton are tied 7-7 midway through the first quarter. Seeing what else we can grab here again with a Friday night. I just follow too many accounts on Twitter. I can't find good scores because it's all buried through different NFL news and whatnot. I just need to put everything into a different folder. But is a lot of good action tonight in South Jersey, so if you're sticking with us, we appreciate you. And Washington Township's lead versus RV has been cut 14-10. Now a final breakaway, looking for one last score. He gets up to the 5-yard line. They got 15 seconds left. They only have to stop the clock until the ball is spotted. And now hold on here. A quick stoppage. Took 3 seconds off the board. There's 12.4 remaining. Okay, so there was a spike on the play. That's why it was stopped. That's why I was confused for a second. They literally lined it up so quick I couldn't tell. They're at the 6, and they're putting on some – I wonder if they're going to bring the field goal unit out with Bartasius, and they will.
Yeah.
They're going to try to field goal to get this one to 13-6 at the halftime break. They'll be lined up for what will be a 23-yard attempt, and now a looks like delay of game on Shawnee. I mean, they had the offense on the field, and then they switched it to the field goal unit, so this will now be from the 11-yard line. So from the 11, 21-yard attempt for Bartasius. It's up, away, and it's blocked. It looked like it got tipped by Pennsauken, and the field goal is no good. And this looks like this is going to go to the halftime break in a 4-point lead. Pennsauken, in their own troubles tonight, is able to avoid giving up 3 more points. And with 8 seconds left, Pennsauken will have a chance at some sort of a Hail Mary with 8 seconds remaining in the half. And again, Bartasius has been a great kicker this year, but he's only made 1 field goal in 2 attempts. He has made 17 for 18 in extra points, but his kicking skills from further out are getting a special test. 8.6 on the clock.
He just took a knee.
And they will kneel to end the half. So Shawnee 10, Pennsauken 6, a low-scoring affair here at Vince McEnany Stadium. They'll get them off the field quickly, and we'll take a break. We'll see in about 15 minutes. It's the Renegades 10 and the Indians 6 at the half.
Book Dog Pro Wrestling for your next event or outing for the greatest action that New Jersey Pro Wrestling has to offer. Any place, any time, any setting, Dog Pro Wrestling will bring the action to you, and you won't want to miss it for moments like this. But don't just take it from me. Take it from Max Mundo, the Dog Pro Wrestling ambassador.
This is Max Mundo with Dog Pro Wrestling. Are you a civic organization, sporting club looking to fundraise? Then look no further to Dog Pro Wrestling. We do grand openings, corporate events, and much more.
And why not from some of the wrestling talent themselves?
I'm Vinny the Fixer, and I'm the champion of Dog Professional Wrestling. If you want to book the best, come see us. We're the cream of the crop. We'll come to any fundraiser you can think of. Just name the place and we'll show up.
This is the upstanding Dylan Mesh, and for the entirety of my professional wrestling career, dog wrestling has been a mainstay for where I like to wrestle. So you can believe me when I say that it is quality. And I'm upstanding. I'm the only opinion you need.
Yeah! It's your boy Gabriel Hodder here with my man Matthew Oman, and if you want your events to be all fight, no flight,
then book Dog Wrestling so you can witness true primal fear. Woo!
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is the responsibility of all of us to make sure that our friends, family, and anybody who we hold dear in our lives is feeling well. The problem with spotting mental health issues is that the symptoms aren't that obvious. Just because someone is okay or appears okay on the outside doesn't mean that they're okay on the inside. It's important that if they are in distress, that they call the right people and they get the help that they need. And it is very important that we treat each other with respect, regardless of who you are or where you come from. But it is just as important that we treat ourselves with respect, regardless of the situation going on in our lives. If you're in distress, you can call this number, 988, or you can visit any of these websites if you're not in distress, but would like to learn more information about mental health awareness and research.
Epplite, he's, again, one time leaving the bases loaded is frustrating enough. Doing it twice in a row. Oh, how about this? Line drive. No, he's throwing it around the infield. They're going to throw him out at first. He's out. I have never seen that before. That is a 5-4-3 ground out because the third baseman thought he caught it. The home plate umpire said no, so he threw it around the infield and then got the out at first anyway because the batter thought he was out.
Yeah, the batter stopped. The third baseman thought
Everybody
he caught
stopped.
it, and it touched.
Ryan Nutley, who has 3 RBIs so far, is up on deck as here's a fly ball at the center field, going back to the wall. It is gone! 3-run home run, Steve Schaefer. He rockets one out, and it's 9-2. First home run for Schaefer this year, the second hit at home by a Scarlet Raptor. Excuse me, Goldberg is a shortstop tonight, but he had a 400 average in 2023 as a junior. A homer in each of his sophomore and junior campaigns, 331 career mark and a 430 career slugging percentage. And speaking of home runs, there's a fly ball to left, and it's gone! Devin Goldberg answers on opening day with a first pitch rocket to left, and it's 1-0 Bridgewater. We were just talking about the long ball, and he stomps on the plate, mobbed at home, and Goldberg, the leadoff man, with a swing of gold. It's 1-0. Late switch for the visitors. Again inside their 5. Oh, they're going to pitch this one back for the flea flicker. Touchdown, West! Oh, my goodness! Taking inspiration from Nick Foles and Trey Burton. I think they just pulled off the Philly special. That is the greatest touchdown I have ever seen. Well, maybe not the greatest touchdown I've ever seen. Maybe that's stretching a little bit, but one of the greatest touchdowns we've seen in a long time. And it's a tie game. Doubleheader reached first on an error in the first at bat of game 2. This one's lined into center field. Slider going over. He dives. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Ryan Slider makes the catch. Not on a slide, but instead on a dive. 2 away. Literally, they've been here twice, and they're about to score, or on the doorstep of scoring 50 for the second game in a row. Xavier Terry Brown. He is still on his feet. He's being shoved forward into the end zone. But who's got the ball? Look at Jason Solomon. The ball magically appeared in Woodbury's hands, and now they're back at the 50. This one's going back. This one's going to go to the distance. I don't see any flags. Did that just go for 100 yards? I think it did. I do not see any flags as Woodbury. Oh my goodness, Jason Solomon, have a day. He is the first man not named Taylor to score. Wow, that was good. BB and Copsetta trading a couple looks. They know what's going on. Full count. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Just like they drew it up in Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons in the Ralph Shaw Classic 26th annual. They are back on top for the first. Donning the number 34 and the shortstop for this one. First pitch. There's a line drive into center field. That one is going to drop it. It's going to go to the outfield wall. 1 run will score. Spence is going to make a huge arc around third. She will score to make it 3-0. And here comes the runner to score. It's an inside the park home run for Ella Hayes to make it a 4-0 game, a 3-run inside the Parker to the 2.
Welcome back here from Vince McEnany Field. It's a close one at halftime. Shawnee 10, Pennsauken 6. This was a game that was really a question mark going into this Friday night. Who was going to get the early edge? And it was pretty obvious Pennsauken didn't look like they had their 100% going out for them, but Shawnee definitely pounced on that, jumping out to a 10-0 lead. But their touchdown they did get, a 35-yard pass from Nazir Negron to Julian Sanabayata, was a fun one to watch in the back corner of the end zone, and that's where the score stands. Pennsauken had a late field goal blocked from 21 yards, and that ended up being, from 31 yards, and that ended up being the difference maker in this half. Whether or not it will be 10-6 or 13-6 may be a trivial issue at the end of the day, but it was a one-score game that Shawnee won last time around in 2024. It was 35-29, and again, Shawnee is going to make things close. 5 of their first 6 games of the year have been either one-score wins or one-score losses, and the games that they have lost have been losses of 1, 3, and 1 again. I mean, you can't get any closer than that. Shawnee is going to make sure that Pennsauken, even if they do win, they're not going to be easy about it. But that's where we stand right now. I really like how they're diversifying this rush attack for Shawnee. Obviously, Renegades have been dealing with a lot on the rushing side. And again, Cole Anderson with a lot of direct snaps. They've been handing it off to Lungard a little bit tonight. He has been a big gain for Shawnee, again, with under 100 rushing yards going into this game. We haven't seen too much out of their usual suspects, but we're seeing that backfield diversified tonight. And with Pennsauken receiving the opening kickoff for the second half, should be a really fun half. We're going to take a quick break. We've got 24 more minutes of WJFL crossover football here on this Friday night, right after this.
You can help town scores too? You can help out Triton and Highland. Only my grandson's a sophomore. He's JV. He won't play tonight.
10-6 Shawnee here in the second half. We're underway, and that kick is muffed on the return. Pennsauken finding some space through the middle, and they will open this second half with a return to the 40-yard line. There's a little bit of extracurriculars after the play, but they hold off on it. As a great return that time, looked like by Correa after the kick by Bartasius. Again, Shawnee opened up the game with a 28-yard field goal and then extended the lead after Pennsauken had one of 2 fumble, I guess you could say, miscues. And Shawnee got a 9-yard rushing score off of Cole Anderson, the QB. Handoff to the Temple commit, R.J. Blunt. He'll get about half the distance to a first down. Forward progress will mark him around the 45. As we check in on some more out-of-town scores at this time, we've got Delran up on Pennsgrove, 28-0 with 3 minutes left in the half. At halftime in the Black Horse Pike rivalry between Triton and Highland, the Mustangs lead the Tartans 14-7. After that, Washington Township leads Rancocas Valley 21-10 late in the second quarter. And we'll see what else we can grab, but obviously a lot of great media outlets like South Jersey Sports Talk, Mark Tribble, Kevin Minnick, Brian Tortella, all bringing us the news and the goods from South Jersey tonight. 21-10 officially at half. That is a really close opportunity there for Blunt and Pennsauken. 3rd and 1. Not too much else from the media outlets tonight. Seems like there's a lot of folks at, specifically at Washington Township, Rancocas Valley, but I like some weeks when the media spreads the love. We don't have any reporters here tonight, even though at least no reporters that I can see from our view up here in the press box. I mean, there is a game of the week, and I think that the game of the week in South Jersey in the WJFL is Washington Township at Rancocas Valley, but here's my counter to that. These are two teams in the top 10 for power points or UPR for South Jersey Group 4. A win for Pennsauken probably means that barring a late season fall, they get a home playoff game, which is a huge mark for Clinton Tab. And the thing about South Jersey media and the thing about high school media anywhere is that you will be able to find storylines wherever you go. But sometimes we get a little bit caught up in the stardom aspect of it, and it ends up taking away from an otherwise great product, which is why we like to cover. You know, I had somebody who follows us, EJ Daniels, who works for Prep Red Zone, had some high praise for us, and one of the things he highlighted was that we cover the little guys, we cover the big guys, and we cover everything in between. It doesn't matter what size of the school or the prestige of the school, you're going to get covered. We've got a flag on the play on 2nd and 6, some late shoves, and a dog pile over the middle, and again, a penalty flag on the play. Defensive face mask. Second time Shawnee's been tagged with that. That's going to be a big gain for Pennsauken as they look to take the lead. It's only going to be a 5-yard penalty on the face mask. My apologies. It'll bring him up to the 37. And also Gloucester leads Shalleck 14-6 at halftime. Another handoff, 1st and 10 from the 43. Look at from the 37. Got about 2-3 yards. Second and 8. Just about 3 minutes gone in the second half. By the way, no score midway through the first between Cherokee and Williamstown. Oh, that's trouble! Look out below! Big tackle by number 69 for Shawnee as he picks up a huge tackle that time on the defensive line from John Mosier. And he picks up some swagger in addition to that one, 3rd and long against Pennsauken after they got an automatic first on the face mask. Second and long, or rather 3rd and long. Lined up at the 40. Negron, handoff, up the middle. They'll get about 5 yards, but the line to gain is all the way up at the 27. You heard a fan to my left say, pass the ball, and that's where I would agree with them. I think the Pennsauken, they got to be a little bit urgent here. Midway through the first quarter, they've got to get themselves in a position where they are confident. They have to get themselves in a position where they are ready to take the lead. And, well, the one way to do that is through passing the ball. That's the way I see it. Fourth and 9. Offense on the field. Negron immediately rolling out of the pocket on the right side. He is going to let this one fly deep and out of the hands. Wow, Nate Correa so close on what would have been a 36-yard passing touchdown for the lead, and instead he comes up empty-handed. First down, Renegades. 3rd turnover by the Indians tonight, and it keeps this game at a 4-point lead for Shawnee. Again, don't forget, tomorrow, due to the weather, we will no longer be covering St. Joe's Hamilton at ACIT. Instead, we've picked up South Jersey NABA Men's League play, a doubleheader, 7 innings each game between the Sicklerville Phillies and the South Jersey Lightning. Rush to the left side. Looks like he's got some space for it, and he gets about 8 yards. Still throughout the first half here in Pennsauken. This broadcast is brought to you. Actually, we're going to hold off on that because they are moving quicker than our ad reads can go. First down, Shawnee. We'll wait until the end of the drive. I tell you, it's never easy judging. Sometimes the NFL, they pull off ad reads so quickly, but that's because they're scheduled. They're brought out. That's why you have media timeouts in the NFL. There is no such thing. The football precedes the media, if you want to call it that. Time called, as it looks like they were ready to get through for a first down, but a holding call is going to bring them back. Both teams not having a good night on the penalty side. Pennsauken's had their fair share. Shawnee has definitely had a worse hand dealt with penalties. And it now stands to be 1st and 20. 6.5 minutes remaining in quarter number 3. The Pennsauken band plays on to our right. Couldn't tell where the sound was coming from. Here comes the rush. He's got space. He's gone. Here he goes. No way to go. And the Renegades extend the lead. Touchdown. The second leading rusher for Shawnee, Tyler Nichols. 42-yard rush. Wow. That was a fantastic one right there for Tyler Nichols. As the kick by Bartasius to make this 17-6. On the left-footed PAT. It's up, away, and good. So Tyler Nichols turns his name into 8 nickels and 2 pennies on a 42-yard rush. 6:07 left in quarter number 3, and it's an 11-point lead for the Renegades over the Indians. They lead it 17-6. Seventeen to 6 midway through the third quarter. Down in Atlantic County, Mainland leads Egg Harbor Township 40-0 at halftime. Jake Blum became the all-time receiving leader for Mainland in the first half. And Williamstown got first blood on Cherokee. They lead 7-0 midway through the first quarter. Our good friend Brian Tortella is there. This one's a fairly sized kick, but Shawnee is now going to close in on the defensive side. Barreling forward, big hit, and he is down at around the 35-yard line. Again, a bit of a brisk evening here in Pennsauken, 58 degrees. It got down to 49 when we were done in Pennsville last night. Of course, you do have the one thing that we forget about Pennsville is how close it is to the Delaware River. I mean, you can, if you get a drone shot up there, maybe 100 feet up, you can see the Delaware River from Lou D'Angelo Stadium on a good day. And that game had 76 combined points. Paulsboro beat Pennsville 44-32, with the Red Raiders improving to 7-0. Pennsauken with the ball after the touchdown. 42-yard rush by Tyler Nichols. Now a rush to the right side, to the right hash. He is down at the 40. Gain of 3. Blunt, again, the Temple commit. Got the play, as he has pretty much all night. Temple plays tomorrow versus Navy at Lincoln Financial Field. Of course, the reason why a lot of South Jersey guys are choosing Temple, Casey Keeler, a South Jersey / Philly guy. You can say the same with Fran Brown out of Syracuse. Some FBS coaches finally starting to recognize the talent in South Jersey. Catch was made, wrestled to the ground, a big hit there and a big throwdown. Tackle made by number 16. That's the kicker, Michael Bartasius, who picks up the tackle, lining up as a defender. And now the clock is stopped as I believe the receiver, Williams.
It looks like we have a play down for Pennsauken.
I'm not sure, but there's some discussion on the near sideline, and the officials called an official timeout. You can see the Pennsauken staff telling his players to back up away from Williams. So kind of an odd situation. Pensauken's offense now kind of huddling around him as he's being attended to. So as they attend to, I believe again that's Williams, the receiver, who is standing. So again, Josh Williams, the player that they are attending to on the sideline. Again, it appears he is standing and receiving attention from the Pennsauken medical staff. He did get a reception of about 5 yards and then hit the ground hard on a hard tackle by Bartasius. So kind of an unusual stoppage for the injured player, but again, he's standing on the sideline, so they cannot resume play. They will pull Williams off the sideline, but again, after it looked like he hit his head, he will now sit and be attended to by the trainers for Pennsauken, and it looks like they'll resume play here with 5 minutes left. Hopefully he's okay, and especially in today's modern age of football, I've seen in almost every game this year, I have seen at least one player wearing a guardian cap or some kind of extra padded protection, which I really am in full support of, as Negron. He's in trouble, pump fakes, lets it fly. Not really anywhere close to a receiver, but it's now 4th and mid-range.
Shawnee, Negron goes out to his left. Incomplete pass stops the clock. Will bring
4th and 5.
4th and 5.
They're going to be lined up at the 42-yard line. Again, Negron was pressured heavily by Shawnee's number 44, the defender, Joey Cleaver. Negron will punt. He gets hit as he punts. That's going to be a roughing the punter call. It's not really going to matter where this ball is spotted because it will be Negron who got turned around like a merry-go-round, and he'll get a 15-yard penalty for roughing the punter. Again, that is defensive awareness that has hit Shawnee hard all night, and it's a reason why this game is still a one-score game.
Flag on the play is running into the kicker. That is a 5-yard.
So it's a 5-yard penalty, but it is an automatic first down. Now remember, running into the kicker or punter and roughing the kicker, that's where the verbiage comes into play. It depends on how hard the punter is hit. It depends on if it's an intentional hit or if it's a, you know, it depends on the severity of the situation. But in this case, because it's a running into the kicker penalty, it is a 5-yard penalty, automatic first down, Pennsauken from the 47.
First down handoff is a run up the middle to R.J. Brown. Pick up
2 yards.
4 yards. It'll leave us 2nd and 6, maybe 7.
Okay, so just a clarification. For the running into the kicker penalty, there was no automatic first down, but because Pennsauken only had 4 yards to go, then they were able to get the 5 yards advanced for a first down. So it's the same set of situations, it's just the verbiage is different. The first down was not automatic, per se. 2nd and 7, 3-yard rush by Blunt. They keep it on the ground. Now Blunt rolling out to the right side, getting a little bit of extra gain. They cross midfield over the Code Red logo, and they will get it to the 46 on the opposite side, 3rd and short.
Pennsauken breaks the huddle here on a 3rd and 3. 2 wide receivers here to the near side, 1 wide receiver to the far.
Handoff on 3rd and 3. Rush to the left side.
We have a rush to the left-hand side of the Pennsauken. Well, appears to be about a yard short, but there is a flag on the play.
Oh, we've got a penalty flag. It's an offensive hold.
That is holding against
Pennsauken going so far, and now Shawnee has a man down. It was Cleaver, the senior linebacker who was able to get up under his own power. He got up quickly, though, as the Shawnee trainers attended to him. The hold on the rush
going
to be 3rd and 13. They are all the way back at the 44. Got a long ways to go and definitely avoidable for Pennsauken. They've got to rush a man off the field, and now another penalty flag comes in as that substitution was being made, and it will be too many men for Pennsauken.
Flag on the play. Against Pennsauken, appears to be too many men on the field.
Again, there's a window where even if it's before the snap, the referee said it was too late. And it now holds. They're going to be now down to 3rd and 18 after being only 3 yards short of the first down in the same set of downs. Here goes Negron. Pocket collapses, rolling out to the right side. He will throw it. He is short of the line of scrimmage. The throw is incomplete. Looked like Sanabayata was the intended receiver that time on the far sideline. And Negron comes up short again. He was chased hard by Jackson Managrassi on the defensive line. Well, if you can strike lightning in a bottle once, maybe you can do it twice. Pennsauken punted and then got a new breath of fresh air on a running into the punter call. This time, though, sent away with no conflict, no harm. It'll be rolled and picked up at the 23-yard line. That's where it rolls out of bounds. So that will be where Shawnee will start this drive with an 11-point lead, 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. While we have the time and while our technical stuff seems to now finally be working, let's get ourselves some ad reads in, shall we? This broadcast, hold on here. It's the one time you don't want your mouse to freeze. All right, anyways, this broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at DAWG Professional Wrestling, New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events and nonstop entertainment throughout the Garden State. Visit DAWGProWrestling.com for more information. And yes, that is from Cooper River Park in Pennsauken. Did some great B-roll shots there back in August. Probably one of the best parks you can run in South Jersey. This one's another run. Anderson, first down and then some. He's all the way over at the 40. He's going to stay on his feet, wrestled out at the 20-yard line, as this is going to be a huge gain. Starting from the 24, and a gain of 50-plus on the rush. And that sends some Pennsauken faithful headed for the exits. Here with 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Running on the left side. Now diving forward on the play.
First down one. Results in about a 5-yard.
I think some Pennsauken fans, even though they're only down by 2 scores, thought they saw enough. A minute and a half to play in the third quarter. 2 receivers deep on the near sideline for the Renegades. Anderson, direct snap. He's going to be in trouble here. 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6. He'll gain a couple of yards, still be short of the first, which will be at the 14-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 3. Another quick rush. Shawnee not wasting any time, and now Anderson on the left side, and he is in. Touchdown, Renegades. Cole Anderson doing it all. The starting quarterback, the leading play caller, and the leading rusher for this Shawnee team. They now lead this one 23-6. As we'll see how much more they can get here on a PAT attempt, as they go up by several scores here against the Indians with 1 minute to play in the third quarter. The kick is up, away, and good. He is now 19 for 20 on extra points this season. We'll be right back. 1 minute to play in quarter number 3. It's the Renegades 24, the Indians 6. Friday Night Lights from Pennsauken. While this is an amazing field, an amazing complex, and we're always happy to be here in Pennsauken, this night not turning out to be the best for the Indians. And timeout somewhere. I have also never seen a timeout on a kickoff, but I'm not sure who called it. Looking at this. So we just saw a timeout on the kickoff, and we don't know who called it. Pennsauken called the timeout. Okay. So now we will regather from the 40, and Bartasius will take this away. The usual duo, Correa and Sanabayata, to return. Won't be surprised if this kick trails to the right and Correa picks it up again. This time it goes way out to the left. It'll go to the second line of defense here on the attack for Pennsauken. He will find some room, not much. He'll get back up to the 32. And Pennsauken will start this drive with an 18-point lead and under a minute left in quarter number 3.
Seconds left here in the third quarter. 1st and 10, Pennsauken.
Williamstown and Cherokee still battling it out. The Braves lead the Chiefs 7-6 in the second quarter. And Washington Township getting a good jump on Rancocas Valley. They now lead it 28-10 with 10 minutes left in the third quarter. Thirty-two-yard line. Negron lowers the shoulder on a pump fake. Now rolls out to the right. He will take himself out of bounds that time.
First down play results in a scramble by another.
He was able to get about 7 yards before he got out of bounds. He was chased out mostly by Luis Amiano. And there is a Shawnee player down, number 14, Bobby Lane, on the far side of the field.
Number 14 for Shawnee is down on the field.
Don't forget, next week on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, we pick up Colonial Boys Soccer between the Woodbury Thundering Herd and the Collingswood Panthers at 4 o'clock from Knight Park. And then on Thursday, October the 16th, we've got Thursday night football in the home of Pat Landis and the Deptford Spartans between the Cherry Hill East Cougars at 7-0 versus the Deptford Spartans. And then after that, Friday Night Lights, it is the Washington Township Minutemen versus the Kingsway Dragons at Township at Tom Brown Field, 7 o'clock kickoff, preceded by the Homecoming Spirit Parade. We were actually instructed to get to Washington Township 3 hours early because of the expected traffic and, let's just say, festivities going on in Washington Township. And then Saturday, Group 1 football back again, West Deptford and Paulsboro on Saturday the 18th. Should be a fun one. Should be a fun weekend. 2nd and 5. They send Correa in motion. Negron drops back again, trying to go to the air more. Lets this one fly. Not a perfect spiral, but almost completed for an interception. That was a close call. Jack Creaney, Jack Creaney almost came up with an interception that time. A close call.
Got to take us to a 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5. Again, it seems like Pennsauken is making these passes when it may not be entirely necessary because you only need 5 yards. But he's throwing as if he needs 40 yards on one play. We've seen how Pensauken's offense runs, and we've seen that it doesn't have to be in the sense of getting all the marbles at the same time. You know, there's certain teams that run on that philosophy. Pensauken's not one of them. But it seems like they're going against the wind tonight, not literally, but just in the terms of how they have been running their offensive plays. Trips right for Clinton Tabb and the Indians. Now Negron drops back again. Tries to fold through the offensive line. He will dive forward ahead of the line of scrimmage, and he'll get to
3rd down pass results in a scramble.
About 3 yards. He'll get up to the 35 when he slid down.
4 yards will bring us 3rd and 8.
3rd down, 8 yards to go. Looks like this could be the last play of the 3rd quarter. 24-6 Shawnee. Shawnee looking to break over 500 with a 4-3 record. And again, this could very well shake up the UPR rankings as Pennsauken stays huddled but does not stay urgent. And at the end of the 3rd quarter, it'll be an 18-point lead for the Renegades as they return to their sideline with an ovation from the Renegade parents. They lead this one 24-6. 3-quarter time here in Pennsauken at the famous Vince McEnany Field. We'll be back in just a moment. Starting the 4th quarter, there's a shot from the Cooper River Park in Pennsauken. This broadcast is brought to you by Gray Fox Sports. Premier sports photography right in your backyard. Visit grayfoxsports.net or Gray Fox Sports on Instagram for more information. Rolling out. Right side. It is picked off. On 3rd down, Shawnee interception. It's picked off by Creaney, who almost had the interception a few plays prior, and the ball gets magnetized to his hands, taking a lot of the life out of this crowd in Vince McEnany Field in Pennsauken. On the first play of the 4th quarter, it's a pick. And Nazir Negron, who again had a very efficient air raid attack versus Eastern 2 weeks ago, not getting the same luck this week versus Shawnee.
Shawnee takes over here on 1st down. Hand off to the left side. Puts it back to the right.
Another rush for Shawnee, another breakaway, and touchdown, Nichols! 57 yards. And Tyler Nichols blows the top off of this game. Makes it 30-6 Renegades. His second rushing touchdown of the night, putting him in direct contention with Cole Anderson. 2 rushing touchdowns for that pair tonight. And you can see the ground attack has turned into a ground stomp for the Renegades. Tyler Nichols, 2 rushing touchdowns, both of great distance, 42 yards and 57 yards respectively. And Bartasius will be back. He's only missed 1 extra point this year, would make it 31-6 if it's good. The snap is low, and the kick almost took off one of the referee's shoulders there. That is his second PAT miss of the year. I feel bad. I feel like I jinxed the kid, but 11:42 left in regulation. It's the Renegades 30 and the Indians 6. We'll stay right here on DWB. It's going to be a fun night from here on out. But, again, tomorrow we've got South Jersey NABA baseball between the South Jersey Lightning and the Sicklerville Phillies. 2 games, 9 and 11:30, 7 innings each. Can never fault the baseball bug. It'll always be around. That's why we work with South Jersey NABA, the premier men's league for 21 and up in South Jersey. Hopefully we get a sponsorship with them one day because really want to promote their product. We already cover some of their games, but what they do is just some fantastic work.
Shawnee gets ready to kick off the
Shawnee will get ready to send this one away. Bartasius backing up. Shawnee doing their kneeling formation prior to the kickoff. Good distance. Back to, Sanabayata muffs it. He's got room, but he's not going to have much. Gets rolled out right side, and he will get taken down by the Renegades. Creaney and Managrassi came up with the tackle that time as this game continues to slip away from the Indians, and it looks like a 4-game win streak will be in jeopardy. With a 24-point lead, 11 and 30 seconds left. Shawnee, this is their last road game of the year. They're home to Camden Eastside on the 17th and then Hamilton on Thursday the 23rd. And then for Pennsauken, they go on the road versus Cherry Hill East. They're 2-5 on the year, and then they play Clearview. Could definitely see Pennsauken finishing the regular season 6-2. Another rush up the middle. And of course, what determines the playoff seeding, as much as I may disagree with it in some kind, is the United Power Rankings. And again, it's not my place to say whether or not it's a good system or not, but that's just how it is. Pennsauken sits in the 6th position at 5-1. Their OSI is 53.17. And then for Shawnee, they're in 9th place with an OSI of 52.11. Now, if you these OSI and UPR numbers, I don't understand them. I have never understood them, and the fact that it takes this much complicated stuff to get a rating, it's never going to be easy. We've got to shove after the play. They don't call a flag on that, but I guess because he stayed up and they settled it quickly. Just kind of a little shove after the play there, and you're going to see that happen in a 24-point game. But the top 5 are Winslow, Manalapan, Red Bank, and Brick Memorial, followed by Central Regional. Pennsauken is in 6th. Princeton follows them in 7th. Millville in 8th. Shawnee 9th. Middletown North 10th. And then 11 through 16 is Steiner, Northern Burlington, Middletown South, Cumberland, Hamilton, and Highland. Remember, out of the 29 teams in the group, 16 make the playoffs. Regardless of how many teams are in the group, the top 16 make the playoffs. 8 are diverted into the South bracket. 8 are diverted into the Central bracket. Blunt on the carry. Gets taken down. On the first down, gain of about 6 on the play. Gets it to the, he got a little bit further, and a late flag comes in. Late flag comes in from the head referee in the back. Unsportsmanlike on Shawnee. Got hit for it again.
Offsetting penalties, unsportsmanlike conduct on Shawnee and Pennsauken.
Oh, they're going to call it on both sides. Okay. So again, there were some emotions that boiled over on the last play, but they were very brief, and then I didn't see anything. But again, it depends on what was said. I don't have a microphone on the field, and honestly, these are high school kids. I don't want a microphone on the field. I don't want to hear what they say. This is going to be a first down. We've got another flag on the play.
Another flag on the play. We'll wait to see what that was.
Looking at a face mask. Shawnee, again, that is the third face mask that you've had. And I'm just going to say this. I do not care that you're up by 24 points. I'm sure that Coach Gushu doesn't care that his team is up 24 points. That's his third face mask that's been called. That's in conjunction with an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that they just hit earlier in the drive, earlier in the set of downs. I'm sure Shawnee wants their team to be more disciplined. That's just how it is. They play a very tough Hamilton team next week, or excuse me, they've got Camden Eastside and then Hamilton. Those are two teams that are going to take advantage of their mistakes if they keep getting into flag trouble. Blunt on the carry. Got hit pretty hard. He gets down at around the 48. And again, these emotions can boil over if people aren't careful and the referee's looking to lay down the law. Second and 7. 9 minutes left in regulation.
Pennsauken takes the huddle of this 2nd and 7.
Single back formation for the Indians. Good snap read that time. Blunt gets the pitch back. He'll get ahead of the line of scrimmage. Not too far. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Pitch out to Brown for a pickup of about 4 yards. That'll leave us a 3rd and 3.
Third and short. They pitch it back to the right side again. Reversing on the play. Blunt taken down.
Third down option play to the right side.
Shawnee lifting up his opponent Blunt. That'll be a first down, but we do have a penalty flag on the play. It's going to be a hold. Another offensive hold. Again, both teams not really getting any momentum after Shawnee has jumped out to this big lead.
After the flag, that'll bring us to 3rd.
So he would have had the first down. He would have had an easy first down, but a penalty brings you back. And if you're an offensive lineman, you have to be concerned with those holds. Shawnee's got their own problems. They've got to figure out how to get out of these personal fouls, out of the face mask problems, out of the unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. But at the end of the day, they'll probably win this game by, 10, 20 points. They're up by 24 right now. Negron wants to change that. This is deep, incomplete, and a flag. Might have pass interference on the defense. That came in from the far part of the field there as Sanabayato was hit downfield. Defensive pass interference. Now again, this is not like the NFL. It's just a 15-yard penalty. It's not, a massive 30, 40-yard penalty like you'd think it would be, but it is a 15-yard penalty. And if I had to count how many times Shawnee got hit with a 15-yard penalty, I wouldn't have enough fingers or toes to talk about here. They've just been running into those problems a lot tonight. But again, I got to give them credit. As much as I critique, they're up 30-6. They're beating a Pennsauken team that they only beat by one score by 6 points last year around this time, and winners of 4 straight.
Negron scrambles right.
Negron running right side. Might have been a hold there that wasn't called, as maybe it was just a clean block. Negron was able to run that one, and it was very close, if not inside the red zone.
Pennsauken has the ball here at a 1st and 10.
They are just on the doorstep of the red zone from the 21-yard line. $7:15 left in quarter number 4. Receiver sprawling out for the Indians as they look to get back on the board for the first time since the second quarter. Dropping back, Negron, line collapses, he's got an open man. It is Elias Pagan who comes down with it. Was frustrated with himself there, but he was able to get the first down. They drop the sticks, it's 1st and goal Indians. First and 10 at the 8-yard line. Looking to get double digits here. Shawnee has not had a single game with under double-digit points allowed. He's in trouble. Negron gets tackled, but he is going to gain about 3 yards on forward progress.
After the short gain, it leads us to a 2nd and goal from the 6-yard line.
Second and goal at the 6-yard line. Gain of 2 before Negron was down. Up the middle.
Gain of a couple.
Blunt got a couple that time.
About the 3-yard line will be 3rd and 3.
Again, that's going to be the question of if Pennsauken can break through, how much time are you realistically going to have to formulate a comeback? Even if they get 8 points here, it would be 30-14. And you'd still only have about 5 minutes remaining. 3rd and goal from the 3. Handoff not to Blunt this time. He's wrestled to the ground. And Shawnee with another huge stop on 3rd and goal. Pennsauken had the rush by number 19. And it looks like the tackle was made on the far side by, again, that lead defender, number 44, being Joey Cleaver, the senior linebacker. They backed him up about a yard and a half that time. Under 5 minutes to play in regulation. Shawnee, even if Pennsauken scores, has got to be feeling nice and pretty about how this game is shaping up so far, considering that Shawnee has made it close in all but one of their games this year versus Lenape. Handoff. Fake. Negron, right side. Facing towards the pylon. He's in. Touchdown, Pennsauken. On the last stand on 4th and goal, the Indians break double digits, and it's going to be 30-12. Still an 18-point lead, but Shawnee giving Pennsauken a little bit of life there as a lot of penalties advanced Pennsauken to that point. And it now turns out to be a second score on looks like a 5-yard rush by Nazir Negron. With just about 4.5 minutes left, 4:36 on the board. They will attempt a 2-point conversion, as would be smart. One running back in the backfield, that is Blunt. Negron stepping up to pass, spinning around, staying on his feet. He's got a little bit of space now, trying to replicate, gets hit hard, and he is in for a 2-point conversion. 8-point play for Nazir Negron. He runs it into the same corner of the end zone twice, marking his territory. And with 4:35 left, it is the Indians 14 and the Renegades 30. We'll take a quick break as a big break for Pennsauken in their quest. They trail by 18. 4.5 minutes left. Pennsauken getting ready to kick this one away. Here from Vince McEnany Field. Got to imagine an onside kick is on the table here with a 2-score, 16-point lead for the Renegades. You can see Shawnee's defensive position. They're definitely keeping an eye on it. Yep, look at this. He's not going to get to 10 yards, though. It's going to roll backwards. And it's going to be a... He didn't even get about... I think he got 3 yards on that one. Not even close. That's a big break for Shawnee, as if Pennsauken had gotten that, the door would have been open. Now the door is 95, 99% shut. As Pennsauken, again, I respect the effort for doing the onside kick, but you could tell that there was a little bit of, there's a lot of precision. Not only do you have to recover the ball, there's so many moving parts. You also have to move the ball 10 yards. And that time he only got about 3 yards. 2 receivers to the right for Shawnee. QB keeper using his running back as a blocker. He gets about 3 yards, gets it up to the opposing 40 as Shawnee, again, in what would be a game-ending drive, already getting good field position. Second and 7. Hand off right side. He gets tripped up. Gain of about 1.5 yards.
Gain of about 1 yard. That'll take us to 3rd and a long 6. Call 7.
Some more out-of-town score updates. Glassboro leads Cinnaminson 19-0 at the half. Williamstown leads Cherokee 7-6 in the second quarter. Ocean City leads Middle Township 28-0 in the third quarter. Mainland still leads Egg Harbor Township 40-0 in the fourth quarter. St. Augustine and Lenape are tied 0-0 in the first, and Bridgeton and Absegami are tied, Bridgeton leads Absegami 6-0 in the first. Passed out to the right. He stays on his feet on the reception, and he will take himself out of bounds. Good catch there by number 15 for the Renegades, being Lucas Solomon, the senior. That'll be enough, plenty to move the chains. Renegades first down, 3:18 to play in the second half. Again, the Pennsauken band, regardless of results, still playing on to our right. Still staying aboard here as in a 16-point game. Another carry for Robinson, gets tugged hard at the jersey. Shawnee wants a flag, they don't get it. Now counting down to 3 minutes left. And by the way, in the Black Horse Pike rivalry, it is Triton 14, Highland 7, going to the fourth quarter. Mustangs leading the Tartans there. And Williamstown and Cherokee, they're tied 14-14 at the half. Close game down in Marlton. Second and mid-range. 6 yards, first down, Renegades. And that might be the dagger, although I'll tell you, Shawnee is moving exceptionally quick for a team that pretty much has this game sealed. It's a 16-point game. It's still a 2-possession game, so if I'm Shawnee, I'd want them to be moving a little bit slower so that this game can end, as opposed to, getting another score on the board. But they're going to get another score. Shawnee will get this one into the end zone, a 19-yard rush. And the first of the day for number 24, Brett Lundberg. He got a lot of that rushing in the first half. And that now makes it 36-14 as a bunch of fans from the home side will start to head towards the exits. I get it. It's not over till it's over. I don't think that's something where I would personally try to break through, but he found the opportunity and he got it. It's going to make it 37-14 if it's good. Again, that Shawnee kicker has only missed 2 PATs on the year, one of them being tonight. It's up, away, and it's blocked. I've been bad luck charmed for this Shawnee kicker. He has now missed 2 PATs, and it now makes it 36-14 on a 19-yard rush by Brett Lundberg, as this game looks like it's in the balance for Pennsauken. For Shawnee, looks like it is almost sealed and done, but we've still got 2:15 to play. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with, again, last-minute action here from Pennsauken. Shawnee with potentially their last kickoff of the night. It will roll. Sanabayata lets it go, and that will be an illegal kick out of bounds against the Renegades with 2 minutes, 15 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Again, stay tuned for our DWB postgame show, a brief one. And then after that, we've got the South Jersey NABA doubleheader later on tomorrow in the morning from Haddon Heights, from Joseph Servino Field, 9 a.m. and 11:30 start times.
2 minutes and 15 seconds left.
Again, if you'd like to make a contribution to Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, we do have a Venmo at DW Broadcasting. No spaces, no hyphens. I'm a second-year college student at Rowan College of South Jersey, and we're filling in the gaps that, you know, there's not a lot of media companies that do freelance work for South Jersey athletics anymore. So if you'd like to contribute and make this even a bigger operation, send us a contribution if you'd like at DW Broadcasting on Venmo. No spaces, no hyphens. No contributions required, but incredibly appreciated. And a flag goes flying about 20 feet in the air. Pennsauken and Shawnee looking like they're continuing to jaw at it here at the tail end. That flag went at least 20 feet in the air. Somebody get StatCast on that one. Like from a couple weeks ago, Nick Sirianni threw a challenge flag, something like 80, 90 feet. Unsportsmanlike on the Renegades, and sometimes a win can get to your head, and I'll tell you, almost exactly what that coach is going to say, leave it on the field. That's exactly what it is. Again, a 36-14 lead, 22 points in favor of Shawnee. It'll be an automatic 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down. 43-yard line, Pennsauken now in opposing territory. Pass, right side, caught, spinning, and taken out beneath him.
Pass out to the right-hand side, where he's tackled immediately by a Shawnee defender.
He'll get about a yard or two.
After the short gain, it's 2nd and 9, Pennsauken.
Second and 9, 43-yard line. Again, got a short gain on the last play. Negron looking to work. He slides and avoids a hit, and a late flag comes in. Shawnee wanted a flag, but I'm not sure where this one will go. One of the Shawnee linemen wanted a flag. I mean, these flags just slow down the game, and they're not gonna go in the playoffs. It's unsportsmanlike on Shawnee. I wonder if it was that Shawnee lineman that was Oh, wow, okay, we have a disqualification. So that is number 11, James Gilmartin. It's his second unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, which is a disqualification. Now, again, there's a minute and 5 seconds left, Think of it as the Lou Piniella tactic. It's the game's pretty much over. Might as well make your money worth it. Now, again, in the playoffs, these refs are going to be a lot more strict, and your consequences are going to be a lot heavier. And again, if you're Shawnee, I don't really care that you're up 22 points. These players got to be a little more disciplined. Negron running out, gets tugged, gets pushed out of bounds. With 45 seconds left, we keep on going, and Negron keeps on driving.
2nd and 8.
Hold on here. Whistle's blown by the head ref. Well, Gil Martin is now being taken off the field. He was already on the field, even though he had his second. Oh, okay. So they brought him in, and then they didn't. I guess he didn't realize that he was DQ'd.
As it's a short game, second and 8, Pennsauken.
I don't know if that was just a miscommunication or if the coach didn't tell him, but they tried to bring him back in, and it was unsuccessful. Negron rolling out, fires a pass over the middle. It's intercepted by Shawnee, and that's going to put a dagger in this one. Shawnee with an interception in the back of the end zone. It is turnover number 5 against Pennsauken tonight. 2 interceptions, 2 fumble losses, and a turnover on downs. It has been a rough one for Pennsauken in terms of that. They've put double digits on the board, but it hasn't been enough, and Shawnee is going to walk out of here with a trip to Medford Lakes, up 4-3, going into their last 2 home games of the season versus Camden Eastside and Hamilton. Victory formation for Cole Anderson, who's probably going to get our player of the game nods, as they huddle, they break, they snap, and they kneel. Shawnee should come home with this one with a 36-14, 22-point win, as Pennsauken's 4-game winning streak is snapped, and it comes at home, as they'll have a couple of interesting games coming up. They may win out for the rest of the schedule with Cherry Hill West and Clearview on the rest of the docket. However, Shawnee is going to have a bit of a tougher road ahead with Camden Eastside, a team that Pennsauken beat last week 28-0, and Hamilton. Player of the game's got to be Cole Anderson. I mean, that was a great performance from him. Didn't pass much. He is not a prolific passer, but he's a rusher, leading the team in the rushing and passing categories. I'll give also a special shout out to Tyler Nichols. I mean, he had 2 rushing touchdowns. His rushing wasn't the most profound in terms of consistency, but it most certainly had a big impact. A 42-yard rushing touchdown in the second quarter, followed up by a 57-yard rushing touchdown in the third to basically put this game on ice. And from there, Shawnee was pretty much off and running. Shawnee definitely hurt themselves with the personal foul penalties, and I don't know how much of that is going to translate into next week. But listen, I mean, Shawnee, you can win a game while also having flaws to overcome. And I think that Coach Gashu will maybe highlight that as, you know, listen, they had a player get disqualified for 2 personal fouls in Gilbarton. That's not a precedent you want to set, because if Camden Eastside watches this game, and they played Pennsauken earlier this year, if Hamilton watches this game and they say, oh, these guys are going to be undisciplined, these guys are going to run into personal fouls, then they might want to take note of that. That might be something where they try to draw fouls more. As much as I try not to lean into negativity too much, I'm a high school sports reporter. These are kids. They are just playing for the love of the game and trying to get opportunities at the collegiate level. I'll just highlight that. Shawnee definitely has that they have to fix. Now, Pennsauken, they had a lot of issues of their own. They played really well the last 2 weeks versus Eastern and Camden Eastside. And listen, Nazir Negron had an excellent performance, and including a shutout last week versus Camden Eastside. There's a lot to like about this Pennsauken team. But this loss tonight probably takes them out of the 6th slot and might take them out of a home playoff game, because this is the last game versus a playoff team that they have this year. Cherry Hill West and Clearview are pretty much out of the playoff picture this year. So with this being their last notable matchup of the year, they definitely hurt themselves in the United Power rankings. They had 5 turnovers, 2 interceptions, 2 fumble losses, and a turnover on downs. Nazir Negron did fine. Randall Blunt did fine. But when it's all put together, Pennsauken just didn't have the strength versus Shawnee's breakaways tonight. But that's all we've got for you. That'll be all for us tonight on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. We've got South Jersey NABA Men's League Baseball tomorrow morning between the South Jersey Lightning and the Sicklerville Phillies from Joseph Cervino Field in Haddon Heights. From our entire crew, our social media coordinator Haley Mejia, our graphics crew Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Carson Rosso. My producer Damian Waiters, I'm Dan Wilkins from Pennsauken High School. The Renegades beat the Indians 36-14. Have a good one, folks.